Previously on Part 1, Adanna, the proudest girl in Obodo village, mocked the warnings about Mami Wata. She polluted the sacred river, dismissed her mother's pleas, and humiliated the priestess at her party. Strange signs appeared. She woke soaking in river water. Her reflection moved on its own. Cowrie shells circled her bed. She was being marked. Then Mami Wata appeared in her mirror, smiling, waiting. The curse had begun. Adanna didn't move from her bed that entire morning. She couldn't. Her body felt heavy, like something was pressing down on her chest, holding her in place. Her mind replayed the image over and over. Mami Wata in the mirror, those glowing eyes, that patient, knowing smile. The smile of someone who had already won. Her mother, Obioma, entered with breakfast. One look at her daughter's face told her everything. The color had drained from Adanna's skin. Dark circles hung under her eyes like bruises. Her hands trembled constantly, even when she tried to hold them still. "She came, didn't she?" Obioma whispered, setting down the tray. Her voice wasn't surprised. It was resigned. The voice of someone who had seen this before, who knew how these stories ended. Adanna nodded, unable to speak. Her throat felt tight, like invisible hands were wrapped around it. When she finally managed words, they came out broken, desperate. "Mama, I saw her, in the mirror, behind me, but when I turned around, nothing was there. How is that possible? How?" Obioma pulled her daughter close, rocking her like she was a child again. "It's possible because you're in her world now. The boundary between water and land, between spirit and flesh, is breaking down for you. She's pulling you closer. Every hour, every day, the pull gets stronger." "No," Adanna said, pulling away. Fear was turning to panic, panic turning to anger. "No, I won't accept this. There has to be a way to stop it. Medicine, science, something." Her mother shook her head slowly. "Science can't fight spirits, my daughter. But there is one way, only one. You must go to the river, today, now. Fall on your knees and beg for forgiveness. Offer her something valuable, your jewelry, your pride. Whatever she asks for, it's your only chance." But even terrified, even marked for doom, Adanna's pride remained. "I won't crawl to some superstition. I won't beg." Obioma stood slowly, her face hardening. "Then you've already made your choice, and I cannot watch what comes next." She walked to the door, paused without turning back. "When you're ready to fight for your life, you know where to find the river. But don't wait too long. Mami Wata's patience has limits." 3 days passed. 3 days where Adanna barely ate, barely slept, barely spoke. But she had to leave the house eventually. She needed air. She needed to prove to herself she was still in control. So she walked through the village market, trying to act normal, trying to pretend everything was fine. But the villagers knew. They always knew. They whispered as she passed, pointed when they thought she wasn't looking. Their faces showed the same expression, pity mixed with fear. The look you give someone who's already dead but doesn't know it yet. When Adanna tried to buy plantains from Mama Kemi's stall, the old woman actually stepped backward. I'm sorry, Adanna. I can't sell to you today. My goods, they're not good enough for you." But her eyes told the truth. She didn't want to touch anything Adanna might touch. Didn't want the curse to spread. Children who used to wave at her now ran when she approached. Their mothers pulled them close, turned their backs. Adanna felt it like physical blows. The isolation, the fear. She was becoming invisible, a ghost already haunting the village while still breathing. Then she saw Priestess Adeze, standing at the edge of the market, not hiding, not looking away, just watching. Their eyes met across the crowd. The priestess didn't speak. She didn't need to. Her expression said everything. "I warned you. I tried to save you. Now it's too late." Adanna ran home through winding village paths, her expensive sandals forgotten somewhere in the dirt, her whopper coming loose, not caring who saw, just needing to escape those knowing eyes. That evening, as the sun set and painted the sky in blood reds and dying oranges, Adanna heard it for the first time, a voice, distant, beautiful, terrifying. It came from the direction of the river, carried on the wind that smelled of water and fish and ancient things. At first she thought she imagined it, but no. There it was again, singing. A woman's voice singing in a language Adanna didn't understand, but somehow knew in her bones. The melody wrapped around her mind like vines, growing tighter with each note. She covered her ears. The singing got louder. She ran to close the window. It came through the walls, through the floor, through her own skin, vibrating in her chest where her heart should be beating, but felt like it was drowning instead. And then her feet started moving. Not because she decided to walk. They moved on their own, carrying her towards the door, towards the compound gate, towards the path that led to the river. She grabbed the door frame, held on with everything she had. Her mother appeared, blocking her way. "No, not yet! Fight it! Adanna, you're stronger than this!" Obioma grabbed her daughter's arms, but it was like trying to hold back a river current. Her daughter's body pulled forward with impossible strength. "I can't stop!" Adanna gasped. Her legs kept moving, dragging both of them towards the door. "I can't stop, Mama." Her father and uncle rushed in, grabbed her, 4 adult arms barely enough to hold one young woman. They wrestled her back inside, locked the door, barred the windows. Adanna collapsed on the floor, sobbing, while the singing continued outside. Patient, persistent, promising that tomorrow night, or the night after, or the night after that, there wouldn't be enough arms in the world to hold her back. The next morning, Adanna looked in the mirror and screamed. Her skin, something was wrong with her skin. It had a sheen to it now, like it was always wet, always glistening, even though she was completely dry. When she touched it, it felt cold, river cold. And there on her forearm were marks, faint, barely visible, but unmistakable. Patterns like fish scales, small, delicate, beautiful and horrifying. She scrubbed at them desperately with soap, with palm oil, with sand. They wouldn't come off, because they weren't on her skin. They were becoming her skin. Her hair was constantly wet now. It would dry for an hour, then mysteriously become soaked again, dripping river water onto her shoulders, leaving puddles wherever she sat. She couldn't drink regular water anymore. When she tried, her throat rejected it, made her gag and cough like she was drowning. The only thing her body accepted was water from the river. Her father had to fetch it in secret, in the dark, hoping Mami Wata wouldn't notice, wouldn't take it as an invitation. They brought the village herbalist. Baba Ojo examined her, touched the scale marks, listened to her breathing that sounded like water moving through pipes. He shook his head. This is beyond herbs.
This is a spiritual claim. Her body is being transformed, made ready for the water. If this continues, he didn't finish. He didn't need to. That night, the entire family gathered. They prayed to every deity they knew, to the Christian God, to the ancestors, to the lesser spirits, anyone who might intervene, who might challenge Mami Wata's claim. But the river spirit was ancient, powerful, and she had been patient long enough. That night, Adanna dreamed. But it wasn't a dream. It was something else, something more real than waking life. She stood on the riverbank. The moon was impossibly large, impossibly bright, turning everything silver. The water was perfectly still, like glass, reflecting not the sky, but something deeper, something ancient. Mami Wata rose from the water, not hiding anymore, not appearing in mirrors or reflections. She stood before Adanna in her full glory, half woman, half fish, more beautiful than anything Adanna had ever seen, more terrifying than any nightmare. Her face was perfect, ageless, eyes that held the depths of oceans, hair that moved like seaweed, alive with its own current. Her scaled tail caught the moonlight and threw it back in colors that shouldn't exist. She held a mirror in one hand, a comb in the other, the sacred tools of her power. When she spoke, her voice was the sound of waves, of rain, of every river that ever flowed. Adanna, daughter of pride, polluter of sacred waters, mocker of ancient powers. Did you think I wouldn't notice? Did you think yourself above consequences? Adanna tried to respond, tried to apologize, tried to beg, but no sound came from her mouth, only bubbles, as if she were already underwater. Mami Wata circled her slowly, the way a shark circles prey. For months I watched you, throwing your waste into my home, using my waters as your toilet, your garbage pit, laughing at those who honored me. I gave you warnings, signs, opportunities to apologize. You rejected them all. So now I give you a choice, your last choice. She held up 3 fingers, long, webbed, tipped with nails like shells. 3 days. In 3 days, when the moon is full again, you will come to me. Walk into the water, become mine, serve me in the depths for eternity. Or... She paused, and her smile widened to show teeth that were perhaps too sharp, too many. You can refuse, stay on land, keep your pride, but your body will continue transforming, scales spreading, lungs changing. You'll drown in the air, Adanna, drown on dry land while your family watches, unable to help. Adanna fell to her knees. Finally, her pride shattered. "Please, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I'll do anything. Just please." Mami Wata leaned down, brought her face inches from Adanna's. "Sorry. Now you're sorry. Where was sorry when you polluted my waters? Where was sorry when you mocked my priestess? Sorry comes too late, little girl. But I'll tell you a secret," she whispered, and her breath smelled of deep water, of things that live where light doesn't reach. "There is one way, one chance, one possibility of breaking my hold." "What? Anything. I'll do anything." Mami Wata smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. "Ask the priestess. She knows the ritual, the offering. But I warn you, child, the price is high, higher than you can imagine. Most people choose the water instead. It's easier." She stepped back into the river, her form dissolving into foam and current. 3 days. Choose wisely. Adanna woke up screaming, but this time her mother was ready. Obioma held her, rocked her, whispered prayers until the shaking stopped. "She spoke to you, didn't she? What did she say?" Adanna told them everything, the choice, the 3 days, the priestess. Her father paced, his face grave. Her uncle muttered prayers, but her mother's face showed something Adanna hadn't expected. Hope. Frightened hope, but hope nonetheless. "There is a ritual," Obioma said quietly. "My grandmother told me about it once. She said in the old days, when Mami Wata claimed someone, there was a way to offer substitution. A life for a life, a treasure for a treasure. But—" She stopped, unable to continue. "But what?" Adanna's father demanded. "If there's a way to save our daughter, we'll do it." Obioma's eyes filled with tears. "The offering must be something you love more than life itself. Something irreplaceable. Something that makes Mami Wata reconsider whether you're worth the effort of claiming. My grandmother never told me what that offering was. She said different people offer different things. But she also said," she dropped her voice to barely a whisper, "most people can't do it, can't make that sacrifice. They choose the water instead, because the alternative is too painful." Adanna wiped her tears. For the first time in days, her eyes showed clarity. "I'll do it, whatever it is. I don't care what I have to give up. I want to live." That night, defying curfew and custom, the family walked through the dark village towards the priestess's shrine. Adanna's skin glowed faintly in the darkness, the scale patterns catching starlight, marking her as something already halfway between worlds. Priestess Adeze didn't seem surprised when they arrived. She sat in her shrine surrounded by candles, cowrie shells arranged in patterns on the floor, smoke from burning herbs making the air thick and sacred. "I've been waiting for you," she said simply. She examined Adanna closely, touching the scale marks, smelling her hair, listening to her breathing. The transformation is advanced. 2 days, maybe 3, before it becomes irreversible. Mami Wata told you about the ritual. "Yes, please, tell me what to offer. What does she want?" The priestess was quiet for a long time. When she finally spoke, her voice was heavy. "Mami Wata doesn't want things, child. She wants truth. She wants proof. The offering she requires is your future." "My future? I don't understand." To break her claim, you must offer her what she was going to take anyway. Your freedom, your autonomy. But consciously, willingly, you must become her priestess. Dedicate your life to serving her, protecting the river, teaching others to respect the waters. No marriage, no children, no life of your own. Every day serving the spirit you mocked. Every night sleeping by the river you polluted for the rest of your life. The shrine fell silent. Adanna understood now. This was the choice: death by water, slow death by air, or a living death of service. 3 paths all ending in loss. Her pride, her dreams, her plans for the future, everything she thought her life would be, gone. She looked at her mother. Obioma's face was wet with tears, but she nodded slowly. Better alive and serving than dead in the water. Better breathing than drowning. Better surrendered than gone forever. Adanna stood slowly. Her legs were shaking, but her voice was steady. When do we do the ritual? Tomorrow night, when the moon rises at the river. You'll need to bring offerings, white cloth, palm wine, your most valuable possessions, and what? And your willingness to face her one last time, because Mami Wata will test you. She'll try to make you run, try to choose the water instead. She doesn't like to lose, Adanna, and she especially doesn't like to lose to someone who once
the river glowed faintly in the darkness, as if it knew, as if it was listening. As if Mami Wata was already preparing for tomorrow night's confrontation. Adanna had one more day. One more day to say goodbye to the life she thought she'd have. One more day before she either became a priestess or became something else entirely. But in the depths of the river, something ancient smiled, because Mami Wata knew a secret. The ritual had never worked, not once, not in 300 years. Every girl who tried it walked into the water anyway. And tomorrow night, Adanna would understand why.